Hello everyone, this is Trevor. Welcome to Design Twist. Today I'm going to be designing my own animatronic for Five Nights at Freddy's. It's going to have an Art Deco 1920s kind of theme, and I'm going to try a new recording style today, where not only do I have a new mic, which sounds pretty good in my opinion, but I'm going to be slowing down my clips, so it's less of a speed paint and more of closer to 100%, maybe 200 or 300, just so you can really see the strokes and the rotation of the canvas doesn't dazzle everybody, because in my opinion that is difficult to watch. So I want to do more cuts so y'all can see the art. I may speed through the sketch a little bit more so that I can get to the line work, but then the line work and the color sections are going to be more cutting the film rather than having it super duper fast. So the first thing I did for this project was download a bunch of pictures of the glam rocks, because they all have similar bodies and each generation of the animatronics from FNAF have a construction that is pretty similar, and so I wanted to make sure that this character wouldn't seem out of place and would really seem like one of the, not glam rocks, but one of the modern Pizzaplex animatronics. But my idea for this was that it would be a 1920s Art Deco type of speakeasy Pizzaplex, or an area of the Pizzaplex that has that theme. I don't know if it would be an area more for the parents, or if it would just be a Pizzaplex with a 20s theme instead of an 80s theme, but that's generally my idea. Speakeasy, 1920s Art Deco animatronics, but I didn't want to take that idea too far and make some kind of crazy monstrosity, so I kept this character designed as if it would be one of the leads of the band. I'm picturing this band as a trumpet, a vocalist, a piano, and an upright bass. And next month, probably, I'll do a video where I design the rest of the band with Deco versions of animatronics that exist previously in FNAF. But for now, this is just this new character. A lot of drawing the animatronics from FNAF is paying attention to the ellipses at the end of the tubes that make up the arms and legs. And that is an art fundamental that you can apply to drawing any kind of body or any kind of character. Breaking down, like I mentioned in my tracing video, you can break down limbs into cylinders and like ball joints usually. And we're lucky here because in FNAF most of the characters' limbs are just ball joints and tubes. But if you have trouble with foreshortening, or having poses of your character where their arms or legs are coming at the camera or going away from the camera, or even if you're just posing a more standard standing pose of a character, one of the things that sells volume and a three-dimensional form the most is making sure the arc of the ellipses at the end of these tubes are even or are pushed. Because if you imagine a cylinder for like a forearm or an upper arm, the closer it gets to being directly sideways, like you're looking at an arm stretched out sideways, it's just going to look like a rectangle. It's just going to be stretched out long, and you won't really see the ends of that cylinder. But the closer that hand gets to facing the camera, if you imagine a cylinder, the more you would see of those circular ends of the cylinder. So you really have to pay attention to the curvature of the ellipse and how extreme it is, because that's what's going to sell the arms or legs or body parts moving away from the camera. That's kind of the basic trick of foreshortening. The other dynamic duo with foreshortening is going to be overlap, which I think I have less of a good grip on than foreshortening. Pieces of the body or pieces of a structure in general are going to overlap each other. And I think I need to work on being less afraid of one shape eclipsing another shape when I'm drawing and losing the definition and structure of that shape. But that is how you sell foreshortening. And I suppose if I had to extend it past a dynamic duo of foreshortening tips, it would be line weight, because things closer to the camera tend to look like they're closer to the camera if the line weight on them is heavier. But the pose I'm doing is pretty static, so there's not going to be a lot of dynamic, super foreshortening, extreme things coming toward the camera, so the line weight isn't going to be that much of an issue here. So in designing this character, I wanted to really balance a 1920s feel and, like I said, Art Deco fashion and design. It's interesting to try to bring Art Deco into an animatronic because machines and robots, or like the concept of a robot, would be a lot different if viewed through a 1920s lens than the regular fashion of a person would be. So while this character is simultaneously a machine that needs to look like it was designed in or for the 1920s, it also needs to look like a character because it is supposed to be, personified. He has a suit on, so the fashion of the time and the mechanics of the time needed to kind of merge into a cool looking character. And for a while during this design, I was messing with what the Art Deco elements even would be. In Art Deco, there's a lot of sunburst effects. There's a lot of rounded tower-like shapes that kind of, I don't know what you would call that, like clam into each other, like sequences of shapes growing. And there's a lot of Art Deco visual design that kind of invokes the feeling of looking up at a tall row of skyscrapers with like spotlights going up into the air. The design of the time really did celebrate this large, tall, imposing cityscape sort of look that makes me think of the Emerald City or like standing on the streets of New York and looking up at the skyscrapers. But when you're working with shapes like this and a shape language that's been defined for so long, this is a century-old art style at least, you really have to focus on what shapes you want to push in the character design. Because a character that's made mostly out of sharp shapes, diamonds, and triangles is going to look scarier than a character who's made mostly out of like round circles and stuff. While most of the FNAF animatronics are creepy in their own right, just given what they are, it's going to be easier to be afraid of an extremely sharp, dangerous creature than it is to be afraid of like Egg Baby, if you're familiar. So as I'm working on the sketch and bringing in a more refined sketch, I just want this character to be more on model. I want a 3D modeler to be able to take this drawing and turn it into an animatronic, which the base of this animatronic would be pretty much the same as a Bonnie or a Freddy. And if I was really preparing this for a 3D modeler, I would draw a reference for the front and side and probably details of it as well, and multiple expressions on the face. But when it comes to FNAF fan characters, I think mostly they have a similar base, at least if you're designing that character to fit into a certain game, or if you're designing a toy animatronic or a shadow animatronic, Withered or Glamrock or Rockstar, whichever one you're trying to design, you at least have a base to work with when you're trying to make a fan character, which is pretty cool. So it really helped me get through the gesture and the sketch phase quickly to get to actually designing the differences between this character and Freddy or Bonnie or Monty. You'll see me go back and make corrections on little pieces of this 4 or 5 times. I fixed the Art Deco portions, I fixed the ellipses, I fixed the arms, I changed their size. You don't have to draw anything perfect the first time. You can just go back and change it. Originally, this character's eyes were more cat-like, or at least their, the iris was more long. And I eventually changed it to be a circle just because I think it's more on model and it looks more correct. It looks like you would see this. And this character is obviously cat-themed. When I was drawing this part, I just thought of that one cat Digimon. I don't know its name. I can just put it on the screen. That one. It really reminded me of that because this character is supposed to be a lynx, and lynx have these long black tufts of hair at the tips of their ears. I've never seen that before. It looks pretty cool. But they also have these like weird sideburns, and I knew this character would have to have a head shaped more like Roxanne than like Freddy. He wasn't going to have a big jaw on the bottom of his head. He would have to have those pieces hanging down to kind of mimic the hair on the sides of a lynx's head. So I call this character Lucian, or Lucy, Lucian Lynx. I think it's a pretty cool name. I think in a normal Pizzaplex he would have like the karaoke bar or rooms. He would run those, or some type of sing-along place. I always thought it was weird how the arcade is set up in the Pizzaplex, and there doesn't really seem to be a major character associated with it. There's just kind of like DJ Music Man, but realistically, like are kids messing with DJ Music Man? Are they standing around on the dance floor with that giant caterpillar dude like chilling there? I don't know. The Pizzaplex is super interesting, and for that game to have been as kind of wacky and random as it was, the Pizzaplex was just huge, and they put a billion ideas in that place. But at this point, I was really starting to come around to the design of this guy, and I was like, okay, this is cool. I can actually see this as an animatronic. But in my opinion, I guess this is a cold take, but in my opinion, Security Breach just isn't that scary. And I'm a person who doesn't deal well with horror, but it's so easy for me to watch Security Breach and like not be startled or anything. Not that the jump scares are bad necessarily, but the feeling of dread only comes once in a while. I like Sun and Moon. I like the Indo Daycare with the Weeping Angel mechanic, but there needs to be more of a like I spooked you type of vibe. And if anyone out there is also a fan of Poppy Playtime, I think they've been hitting that really, really well. Just like the unsettling I need to get out of here feeling is not really as present in the Steel Wool games. And I think they are probably getting back to that. Jackie looks horrifying. But I wanted to imagine in my head a way that Lucy would be terrifying. So I'm imagining that perhaps at night, or when the lights go out, if we conserve power, if we get one of those mascot horror conceits where at night the lights go off, the animatronics are roaming, right? Lucian kind of goes hunter mode. And all you would be able to see in the dark is a slight gleam of these golden lines. The lines that I'm going to put the Art Deco lines all over them are going to be gold. And I eventually settle on these kind of pink magenta-like eyes at the end. And if you just saw like these two pink round eyes looking at you with a bunch of like gold slash marks, they kind of evoke a cat scratch type of effect. And so like you're being hunted through the Pizzaplex by a wild cat rather than just like a guy in a suit running after you. It's scarier to think that this thing is hunting you and you have to hide from it. And I think that's a design fundamental that I want to bring into the other three when I eventually design them in the band as well. They will start out really nice and friendly, but at night they are hunting you and they want you dead. I mean, that's a given for FNAF, but I think seeing Lucian kind of transformed a little bit, his pieces moved around to give him a more cat-like frame, and he is actually crawling, scratching at the environment. Maybe he's leaving like those gold lines around to where he is. Maybe if you look at the cameras or if you visit certain places, you can see where he's been by the recency of his scratch marks and they fade over time or something. That'd be kind of cool. I guess the hunting at night theme would really be pushed by the music as well. I could imagine that the music in the day is really jovial and happy, but then just hearing like a lone trumpet at night. Could we make that scary? Can a musician make a lone trumpet in the darkness of an abandoned Pizzaplex creepy? I mean, I wanted to keep it a secret until the second video, but I'm excited about it, so I want to talk about it. The rest of the group is going to be Roxy on piano, Foxy on an upright bass, and Eleanor/Baby on vocals. And I want to bring Eleanor into it because I think she doesn't really have a circus theme. She looks like Baby, but there's nothing necessarily circus-like about how she's been implemented into the story, and she's such a mystery. I think it would be cool to turn her into a singer/performing artist, and maybe her song that she sings is called To Be Beautiful. That way, that's her theme, and Lucian is playing trumpet, and the rest of them are playing the instruments to that song. But then Lucian could also have a song, and perhaps while he's like stalking you through the darkness, he's humming that song. But the lyrics of the songs, hey, musicians out there, get on it. There's probably other FNAF games that have really cool music or vocal songs that tell their story, but it would be cool to hear like Lucian singing or humming some kind of song that sounds cool during the day, but at night the lyrics kind of take a second meaning where he's gonna mess you up. I almost cussed, sorry. But by this point, I'm really liking the design. It really looks like it fits in with a Pizzaplex, not with a glam rock style, but this, I really want to see like this 1920s Pizzaplex look. It would be really cool to make a video designing elements of an Art Deco Pizzaplex, but I think that would take a really long time, and if I wanted to do it, it would probably be a big video. It would take a long time, and it would set my schedule back. But maybe I should do like a couple little shots of the stage or the concessions or something like that. I at least got to draw the other three animatronics, so probably next month I'll do a video where I draw Roxy, Foxy, and Eleanor. But yeah, thanks for listening to my rambling. I had fun designing this character. I didn't know whether I wanted to design him as an animatronic or as a character. You know those, I don't know the artist off the top of my head. I'll put their detail up here. But the artist that does the 2D illustrations of the band, of the glam rock band from FNAF, they're really cute. And the illustrations of Gregory and Cassie, those are so cute. That art style is really good. I didn't know if I wanted to do a character version of, like, from the Monty backstory and the Roxy makeup pictures from like the cardboard cutouts in the Pizzaplex, or if I wanted to just design the animatronic. I settled on doing the animatronic because I wanted to challenge myself to make the character interesting as it could appear in game first, before I tried to design just a cool cat guy. But yeah, I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have ideas for a mechanic or a feature of an Art Deco Pizzaplex, because that sounds really cool. Other than the fact that it would probably serve alcohol. I don't know if it would advertise that one too much, but it would probably serve alcohol. Maybe there's an animatronic that's drunk all the time, but it's like, oh, I'm just having fun. I'm a moonshine salesman. Maybe that's a lot before the 1920s. That would be pretty goofy. But at least the parents will have something to do while their kids are running around playing Mazercise. So thanks for watching Design Twist. I do gotta say, thank you so much for watching my last couple of videos. The numbers on my last 2 videos went absolutely crazy compared to the first couple. I don't really care if the numbers go up or down. Eventually I'd like to be monetized, but you know, who knows? For now I'm just having fun. And a lot of the people who followed me is from the tracing video and from the Deltarune video that I did last week. Go check those out. And in neither of those videos did I plug my Etsy store where I sell stickers, or say that you should go to the link in the description to my website to get a commission, because I'm open for commissions usually. At least if it says so on my website below. But I didn't plug myself in either one of those videos, and I was kicking myself. I'm like, why did I not do this? This video has 5,000 views. What am I doing? But I'm having fun with it. Thanks for being here. This is Design Twist. I don't even know if this is Design Twist. I didn't twist any designs. I designed a brand new character. So this isn't Design Twist. This is just a video. But thanks for coming by. Peace.